Hi, I'm Ashley Deem, Associate Publisher and Editor of Fantini's Gaming Report. I am here with Harald Neumann, CEO of Novomatic. Harald, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Harald, first of all, congratulations. Revenue growth has continued at Novomatic. I believe you were up 11% to 1.2 billion euros in the first half, thanks to a couple European acquisitions. Tell us what Novomatic has accomplished over the last year and the direction of the company moving forward.
Yeah, let me start first to express my deepest sympathy and condolences to all the families of the victims of the Sunday shooting here in Las Vegas. Coming back to Novomatic, Novomatic has grown in average over the last 10 years by 14%, 4 or 5% organic growth and 10% via acquisitions, what you mentioned. We have done several big acquisitions based on our European strategy to become the number one in the key markets, which are UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain, which you have almost reached. Spain, we are on the best way to become the number one. So the European, let's say, first step is done, and now via Ainsworth, we are making the next step into the US.
Now, it's been widely reported that you would IPO this month, and that has been delayed. What are the prospects for Novomatic becoming a public company, and what are the motivations for doing so if that happens?
Look, we have done over the last 5-6 years more than 100 acquisitions. Acquisitions is part of our growth story. We had I would say, in Europe, Europe is a very fragmented market, and you have in some of these markets you have an unclear situation regarding regulatory conditions like Germany, Italy. So we have considered several financing options, and as there is no real necessity to do it now, we have more or less said, okay, let's stop all these investigations. Let's concentrate on the next steps, on the possible acquisitions next year, and let's see what next year comes.
And you mentioned acquisitions and how many you have previously done, and I expect that activity will continue. I believe you now operate 2,100 gaming sites of all sizes, and you're in the interactive and social casino space. So how do you view expansion and growth moving forward?
I think you have to differentiate between Europe and the rest of the world. In Europe, there's a consolidation going on in the operations. You have a lot of family-owned, smaller arcade chains, which will be sold over the next years, and we are one of the consolidators of the market, and this is a huge opportunity to continue our growth story in Europe. And any other bigger acquisitions which we will do in the future has to support our global strategy, either investing into products or investing into our global presence.
And you're also on the way to completing your 53% acquisition of Ainsworth. How is that transaction coming along, and how does Ainsworth play a part in Novomatic's growth in the US?
I think Ainsworth was a very important strategic step. We have tried in the past to enter the US market, and we failed, because you need a very deep knowledge about this market. The US market and the European market is completely different, AWP market, casino market. And Ainsworth is a very important step for us because they have a distribution network here, they have an R&D center, production center in Nevada, they are licensed in all the states, they understand the US market. And if you look at the exhibition this year, we have first time combined our booths. So there's the integration ongoing, and I expect the closing of this deal end of this year. And then we will push new products for the US market together.
And you really do have a breadth of operations. You're diversified in terms of geography and in the type of gaming that you operate. So you have maybe a unique perspective on the industry that you see as a whole. Can you speak maybe on some of the trends you see? How does gaming evolve in the next couple of years?
So regarding USP, Novomatic has the unique USP. We have this integrated business model. On the one side, we can provide the full range of technology, all kind of slot machines, lottery, sports betting. Online, on the other side, we are operating our own 70,000 machines. And this combination, which is, by the way, only possible in Europe, South America, and maybe Africa, not in the US. So in the US, we will only sell or rent out technology. But that's a let's say that's a USP for Novomatic. The trends in the future, I think there's no big trend which is completely changing the industry, but you will have more networked solutions like linked jackpots, like VLTs. This is one trend. Online will grow. Unfortunately, in the US, there's no regulation in front of us, and sports betting. And I'm also looking forward, maybe there's a huge sports betting market in the US coming, and we want to participate. And
back a little bit to the Ainsworth
Yeah.
acquisition. You are showing this week at G2E at the same booth as Ainsworth. And how does that speak to the emphasis that you have at this year's show?
Yeah, we will demonstrate the integration of both companies. Even the deal is not closed, there's a lot of teamwork going on, especially in the R&D space. We are preparing all our distribution for after the closing. And I think this combination, having both brands under one booth, I think should demonstrate the future.
And everyone will open the trade show floor today. What are some of Novomatic's must-see products?
I think there are, from Novomatic point of view, which is also, let's say, a kind of new approach to the US, we will have our first theme title, From Dusk Till Dawn. This is very important, and I hope this will be a successful product for the US market. We will show new cabinets, and on the Ainsworth booth they have Pac-Man, which is also up to now a quite successful title, and of course also a combination of new machines. But I would say Dusk Till Dawn and Pac-Man, these are the highlights of the show for this year.
Great. Well, Harald, thank you again for joining us.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.